Hi, everybody. This is Tom Alexander from the RV Advisor Podcast. Just want to let you know today's show is a best of, and we'll be back next week with new shows. Enjoy and have a great weekend.
This is the RV Advisor Podcast with your host, Tom Alexander. Get all the latest information, trends, advice from experts, stories from the road, and more in the world of recreational vehicles. Now, here's Tom.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to the RV Advisor Podcast. I'm Tom Alexander, and I'm joined today by the RV Advisor's Solutions Coordinator. It is Niamh Carey.
Hi.
Niamh, how are you?
Good, thank you. How are you?
Good. Doing great. It's great to see you, and it's great to have you back on. You were on one of our very, very earliest episodes.
Yes, I was.
Yeah, back in the audio-only days, and of course, we still have our audio version of this podcast for folks on Apple and Podomatic and SoundCloud and everything else and Spotify. But we also, of course, have
fun.
We have our
because
video
you get to see each other. Yeah,
absolutely. And so things are you're doing well.
Yeah, I mean, it's starting to get back to normal. Trying to just get used to the new normal. I guess around everywhere with face masks and everything that's going on. It's crazy.
It is the new normal, and when you left Ireland, you probably didn't expect to step into something like this.
No, definitely not. Even though Ireland is actually they were affected also, but just not to the extreme.
Not to this extreme. Yeah.
And now that they were even getting back to normal, when they reopen and things like that, it's not with having to wear your face mask for the most part and things like that.
Right.
They've
contained it a little more sufficiently, I guess, effectively, I guess the word more than we have. Hopefully we're getting there slowly but surely. But you are the solutions coordinator at the RV Advisor, and tell us a little bit about what a solutions coordinator does. And I know you're extremely busy these days.
Yeah, for sure. Basically, we obviously are inundated with people that are trying to get through to Gigi or just anyone on our team, the RV Advisor team. They're spread across many social media platforms, as well as our website that we're currently working on improving right now.
Yeah.
We always have people looking to see our pricing, what plans we offer, what states are covered, things like that. So I just basically try get whoever is asking questions to the right person. Help them out as much as I can. If Gigi needs help with it, help her out as much as I can. Basically just filtering through and trying to take care of people to the best of my ability, and then obviously get them to the right person when it's just kind of out of my scope of work. But yeah, I mean, so many people are excited and very curious because it's kind of a new, well, not so new now, we've been out quite a while, but it's still new to the industry to have something like this to offer people. So I feel like there is just a lot of questions that you yourself from, you obviously ask the questions of Gigi on the Just Ask Gigi live show. If anyone doesn't know about it, go watch it. It's just trying to make sure that all the questions we can are answered, and people are just taken care of.
Yeah. It's interesting because it's a business that's in constant evolution, and in some way, and in some ways that there isn't really a template to kind of go by, and so we sometimes have to think on our feet and make stuff up as we're going along and figure it out as we're going along. But that's all sort of businesses at some point have to kind of go through.
Absolutely. Luckily, I mean, in our industry or in Gigi's world of RVs, amazing. Talk about evolution, having to adapt and move forward, and to be able to use the RVs as a place to quarantine. I mean, it was massive. Instead of taking a real hit, I feel like it helped somewhat. Obviously, I'm sure sales and rentals were down across the country for people in the RV dealership industry. To be able to think outside the box and think hey, I mean, park this outside your house and it's a way to either keep your family safe or someone safe from you. I mean, it was just unbelievable. I think it was just such a fantastic idea.
A great idea, and I want to learn more about that and ask you more about that in a moment, because you have some very specific cases you can comment on, and you've got some things you can share with us. So let's take a quick break. Our guest is Niamh Carey, our solutions coordinator, right here at the RV Advisor, and we'll be back right after this commercial break. Back in a second.
RV owners, it's no secret that those manufacturers' warranties just don't cut it. Get the peace of mind you deserve and step up to the RV Advisor Extended Warranty Plan. Visit thervadvisor.com or call 833-229-0911. That's 833-229-0911.
We are back on the RV Advisor podcast. My guest is Niamh Carey. She is our solutions coordinator right here at the RV Advisor. And Niamh, I'll tell you, it has been an interesting past few months.
Crazy.
It's hard to believe that we're well into June now, deep into June, and July 4th is just around the corner. I mean, it's just crazy. So, and yet we've endured through this for several months now with the coronavirus, with COVID-19. Mm-hmm. You'd mentioned prior to the break that there are, and we've talked about this on Just Ask Gigi as well, RVs as isolation units, and you yourself have dealt directly with these kinds of cases. What are some of the more interesting, extraordinary things you've come across here in the last couple of months?
My husband is a firefighter, so obviously he's in contact with people that have COVID or have symptoms of COVID on a daily basis, or on each shift that he's on, we'll say. So obviously when I had learned that Gigi was offering this service and helping people and donating campers to people in need, like first responders, I put out the word to him and to all his buddies and different neighboring fire stations that this was something that she was offering. My main goal, honestly, at the time, at the start, before it directly affected us or people we knew, was just to get donations, because I mean, it's such a costly service to just give out an RV to someone, you know? So yeah, I mean, that was my first goal. And then second of all was to let people know that this was something that you could, in fact, you know, utilize. So yeah, one of my great friends, her husband ended up having to go into an RV for 2 weeks to quarantine, and he actually did end up testing positive. So, you know, I mean, talk about completely just saving the day with the fact that they had the RV, because she's a nurse also, and they have a young child. So, I mean, if they ended up all getting it, they would have had no income. Well, I'm sure they would have been taken care of by their jobs, but like, I mean, just, it would have upskilled their life completely. And even for Sal, actually, a few weeks back, he had to quarantine. Now, the room I'm in right now actually used to be our shed, it's like air conditioned and stuff, but we ended up putting this like pull out couch in here, and he ended up having to quarantine. So I mean, just we personally were, I was actually lucky enough that I didn't have to ask Gigi, which was great, but there was so many people that were just not in the same situation, and they had to obviously, you know, go and check for something else, and they, you know, found a solution with an RV. Yeah,
and it's been a running theme that we've heard on this show, and on the Just Ask Gigi show, where people are, you know, the RVs have never been more valuable. They've never served. It's
crazy. I'm even on the lookout now. I said it to Chrissy. I was like, I would love a small unit, because I just think it's such a valuable asset to have.
It is amazing. They are incredibly valuable. Even like little teardrop units or something. Anything to kind of, you know, it's been great. And look, we both know that Gigi's been no stranger to reaching out to people in crisis, even prior to COVID.
Oh, absolutely.
Know, whether, you know, there's fires or hurricanes or tornadoes or whatever, where people need someplace to call home. She has in the past donated and lent out.
Oh, so many. I mean, obviously I worked for Gigi for years. I mean, I went through so many scenarios with her where she had people not only in the United States, I mean, the islands. We have shipped more like RVs and trailers out there over the years. Absolutely stocked full of just food, non-perishable items, towels, clothes, Like every single time there's been a disaster, she's always stepped up and helped. Like it's amazing.
Yeah. No, it's amazing, and that level of philanthropy is amazing to see and inspiring. It really is. I actually had a very interesting, kind of early on in my time at the RV Advisor. I had a very interesting connection that I made with a gentleman whose story was kind of went global, world famous. I can say his name because his story was on CNN. His name is Howard Armstrong, and he was in the Bahamas. And very sadly, and this is well publicized, he lost his wife during the storm there. It was just tragic. I can't imagine something like that. But she perished in the storm.
So devastating.
And it was just devastating. But he and I connected, and we spoke several times, and we still connect from time to time. We check in on each other. And Gigi sent a unit out there for him, and he was just so overwhelmed, and moved by the generosity and the care. And when he got it, and he's just made a wonderful home out of it now, and he's able to work and sort of rebuild his life from the ground up, literally.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
I swear some people sometimes think it's nearly like fake, and that's why they ask so many questions, because it's unheard of in 2020 for people just to help each other, like for nothing, to gain nothing from it yourself. You know what I mean? So it's amazing to hear those stories and get that side. I mean, obviously we all work on helping people and connecting them with Gigi and things like that on a daily basis. But when they actually get the help and you see them that they're like shocked and happy and surprised and their problem is solved, like there's nothing better. There's nothing better than seeing that.
No, there's nothing better than it. And I don't know if Mr. Rogers made it to Ireland. Was Mr. Rogers shown in Ireland? It was a kids' TV show. No,
I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah. Well, I've got several years on you, which is obvious to our viewers. But when I grew up in the 70s, there was a show called Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, and he was a very caring, sort of giving individual who just shared stories with, helped kids. It was more than an educational show. It was more about doing the right thing, and being friendly to others. And he was great. And he's no longer with us, but he would always say, his mother told him when he was a young boy, time of crisis, look for people doing good. Look for the people there. You'll always see somebody doing good, no matter what the crisis. It can be a war. It can be something really terrible. It can be a natural disaster or something worse. There's always somebody doing something to help someone else.
Yeah.
And, you said, here we are in 2020, which has to say it's been a challenging year.
A whirlwind.
Yeah, but you know what? There's always people lending a hand, and obviously Gigi's one of those people. But there of course there are others. There are people out there doing wonderful things in this time.
Absolutely.
And it's great to see those folks and RVers. And I know you've experienced this, and I'd love for you to hear your thoughts on it. RVers, the RV community is just that. It's a true community.
They're the best. They are the best.
Yeah.
They will just help you with anything. I mean. Again, even on our social media platforms, someone will ask a question, and even like before anyone from like the RV Advisor team has, answered or whatever, there is just like a plethora of people that will like answer and help and give their opinions and what's best for them on the road, or like what vehicle to tow with, whatever the question or whatever the help may be, or even if you're at a campground, like you'd nearly be nervous to go and like ask your neighbor for help. Like now, but if you're at a campground, you can be damn sure that like you can just, people are so approachable, and like you can go over and ask them for like matches to light your fire. They're just a different type of personality.
It is amazing, and they are a true community. And in the time that I've been doing this podcast now since August, September of last year, it's again another recurring theme. People just talk about the family. They become. It's like instant family. It's like just add water really and you got instant family. Kind of.
Yes.
But it is pretty awesome. And another thing you'd mentioned, the social media aspect. Social media in general, as we both know and we all know, can be very toxic.
Oh my God.
Right. I'm not going to take any stance anyway politically here at all, but it can get really, really toxic.
It can be very nasty.
And unbelievable levels of anger and everything else.
Yeah.
Yet, when you go on the RV sites and our site and you see people comment, the tone is almost always helpful.
So different.
And it's such a different thing. And, you're thinking, wait a minute, is this social media? Yeah, I guess it is.
It's wild.
But it's a whole other dimension. So it's wonderful.
And I mean, we've set the tone for everyone to be as opinionated as they want. And even so, they're just nice about it.
They're nice about it.
I think it's just different. It's amazing. It's really nice to see.
100%. Even differences of opinion are handled with care and respect. Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's really great. It's great to see that. Niamh, thank you for coming on.
No problem.
It's always a lot of fun to talk to you. We don't get to see each other much anymore in the office right now. Yeah, we certainly miss you and we miss our family there at the RV Advisor. Hopefully we'll get together. But at least now with Zoom, we can see each other. We can check in on each other. And I know you and yours are doing well. Yes. And your little guys and everything. And I should point out, if you're watching this, you can see Niamh. Her spelling is Niamh. Now, people might say, isn't that Niamh? But it's Niamh because it's Gaelic, right?
Correct.
So is it the MH sound is a V?
Yes, exactly, Tom. Look at you. You're well versed now in the Gaelic language.
Listen, I am a fan of languages. My Greek is pretty broken. I can get around with some of it, but I am fascinated by language. And when I see a spelling that appears to the Western eye or the English, whatever, American eye, slightly unusual, I have to ask the origin. And I know Gaelic is the native language of the Emerald Isle.
Dying language now, but it's.
And you speak some? Do you speak some?
I do. Very, very little. I don't think I would not be able to hold a conversation in Gaelic, but I'd understand a lot and I'd know a lot of words, but like putting everything together in a sentence, probably not anymore.
Yeah. Can you say thanks for watching?
Gura mahagat. Actually, that's just thank you. For watching, I'm not sure. But Gura mahagat.
Say it one more time.
Gura mahagat.
Guramahada.
Yeah.
Did I even come
the
close?
last one is AGAT. Yeah, you're close.
Okay. Yeah, I got to work on that.
And even the spelling of that is like nothing.
I'll bet
like how it sounds.
it's really confusing, like 50 consonants in a row or something.
Yes.
That's terrific. I love it. So listen, Niamh, thanks again, and we will see everybody next time right here, and on the RV Advisor podcast. It's been a long day, folks. I'm still trying to sort everything out. It's like a juggling act over here.
I know Mondays are always very busy.
It's crazy. It is crazy. For Niamh Carey and the rest of the crew here at the RV Advisor, we'll see you next time. So long, everybody.
Thank you.